Thank you, guys. Okay, thank you for your patience. I want to thank everyone for being here this afternoon. I want to update you all on the status of the investigation into the death of Officer Brandon Tsai. As you know, Officer Brandon Tsai lost his life while pursuing a suspect on November the 14th. Since that time, Grand Prairie police officers have worked around the clock, literally, to bring the driver of that suspect vehicle into custody. Last night, members of the Grand Prairie Police Department, with the assistance of the Dallas Police Department, took Colby Hoffman, 22 years of age, into custody and charged him with evading arrest and detention causing death. That is a second-degree felony. His bond is currently $250,000 on that charge. He was also charged with tampering with physical evidence, a third-degree felony, and his bond on that charge is $25,000. Finally, he was booked in on 8 additional warrants out of Waxahachie, Bedford, DeSoto, and Grand Prairie, all of which were outstanding at the time of this incident. The Dallas County District Attorney's Office is examining this case to determine if enhancing these charges are appropriate. And the vehicle involved in this case has been recovered and is being processed for additional evidence as we speak. Capturing Hoffman was a very intensive and collaborative effort that included every bureau within the Grand Prairie Police Department, as well as our friends at the Dallas Police Department, Dallas Fusion Center, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, including others. I'd like to quickly run through some of the outstanding police work that led to Hoffman's capture, because it's my opinion that the public deserves to know the caliber of the men and women that they have serving them each and every day. As mentioned in my previous press conference, this fictitious license plate that was displayed on the suspect vehicle had been scanned on over 200 different vehicles, almost 50 of which were Chevy Malibus. Our detectives, over the span of 48 hours, were able to follow up on all of those vehicles, a monumental task to rule them out. Dallas Police Department's air unit even assisted us surveilling one particular Malibu before we were able to rule it out. The Grand Prairie Police Auto Theft Unit then began the arduous task of examining over 6,000 images, including suspect vehicle scans and our flock license plate recognition system. They did this in an effort to locate leads, suspects, or even patterns, because as you know, we had virtually nothing to go on. In doing so, this team recognized our suspect vehicle had been scanned multiple times near the intersection of Hensley and Main Street here in Grand Prairie and began to canvass that entire neighborhood. During that canvass, they located other vehicles bearing the same fictitious license plate and a particular house of interest in the 300 block of Hensley. Detectives also noticed while driving by that location that they could see a silver vehicle that matched our suspect vehicle description in the back of one residence, with the fictitious license plate removed and bearing no license plate at all. Officers then initiated surveillance on that location and stopped a vehicle leaving there for traffic violations. That driver confirmed to officers that the vehicle they saw was in fact the vehicle we were in search of. They also identified the driver of that vehicle as Colby Hoffman. Hoffman was driving that vehicle at the time of Officer Tsai's death. Detectives then applied for and were granted a search warrant for the suspect location. During the execution of that warrant, officers recovered the suspect vehicle. Also during the execution of that warrant, Grand Prairie Police received a call from the Dallas Police Department who indicated they had Hoffman detained. Hoffman had called DPD, identified himself as the person driving the vehicle during the pursuit when Officer Tsai lost his life, and that he preferred not to be arrested in Grand Prairie. Officers later learned that Hoffman was tipped off by associates that the Grand Prairie Police Department were at his home, and he traveled to Dallas to turn himself in. Dallas police officers detained Hoffman until Grand Prairie police officers arrived and took him into custody. Now, as you know, Officer Brandon Tsai was a Grand Prairie police officer who previously served as a Los Angeles Police Department officer. Consequently, Grand Prairie police officers who also formerly served as Los Angeles PD officers went to the scene and took Hoffman into custody with Officer Brandon Tsai's handcuffs. We will now go back to the business of burying a Grand Prairie police officer with the highest honors humanly possible. Some of Brandon's family have already made it to the Dallas area, and we expect his family from Hong Kong to be here this afternoon. All of Brandon's family are aware of Hoffman's arrest. Brandon's service will be at the Gateway Church, located at 2404 North Carrier Parkway on Monday, November 21st at 11 a.m. And as mentioned previously, Brandon's Candlelight Vigil will be here at the Public Safety Building at 1525 Arkansas Lane at 6 p.m. this Friday. I would be remiss if I didn't thank all of you in the media for disseminating the picture of the suspect vehicle. It means a lot to us. Thank you. I would also like to thank Gateway Church Pastor Josh Briscoe for opening your home to us once again. I'd like to thank the Dallas Police Department and our friends at the FBI. Chief Eddie Garcia and the interim special agent in charge of the Dallas Field Division, Jim Dwyer, are both class acts. They're both my friends, and I appreciate you. And most importantly, I would like to thank every single person who had a hand in the capture of Hoffman, especially the Grand Prairie police officers who refused to stop until this suspect was arrested. You've helped to start the healing process for all of Brandon's family, and that includes all of them, both blood and blue. Grand Prairie Police Department is second to none. I couldn't be more proud to serve beside these men and women. What questions do you have for me?
Chief, is the suspect saying where he got this tag? Did he make it himself or buy it from someone?
The suspect was very forthcoming and provided us with a confession, but I'm not going to get into the details of his confession.
Identifying the source of these fake tags part of the ongoing investigation of this department?
Yes. Let me say that again in case everybody didn't hear your question. Is identifying the source of this fictitious tag a priority for this department? Yes. Highest priority. Including anything we can do at the legislative level to solve this problem.
How hard was it to really locate him, Chief, without a real tag on the car?
Our detectives and officers had a mediocre picture of a car with a fictitious license plate. That's it. That's what we had to go on. To solve a case like that is incredibly difficult, painstaking. And I can tell you that these cops did not stop until it occurred. They literally worked around the clock and refused to go home. And quite honestly, it wasn't just Grand Prairie PD. As I mentioned, DPD, FBI, Waxahachie reached out. I mean, we had a lot of other agencies providing assistance, but not capturing the suspect was never an option for this department. I can tell you that this department is tight. And I told you all at the last press conference that we weren't done. They proved me right.
Chief, it sounds pretty significant, symbolic, and intentional to have Officer Tsai's colleagues use his handcuffs to arrest a suspect. How significant is that for members of law enforcement when they're able to do something like that?
Well, it was significant for us.
What message does that send?
Well, the message it sends to all the brothers and sisters that wear this badge is that we're not going to stop until we catch the person he was chasing. I also think it sends a message to anybody that thinks it's a good idea to come into the city of Grand Prairie and commit crime. It's not a good idea because we don't know how to quit.
Chief, what do you think of the, that redesign of paper tags that has just been announced? Do you think that will help you guys?
Saw that press release, came out 2 hours ago or 3 hours ago. I haven't had time to look into it. I'm happy they did it. I'm not going to go any further into that. I'll just tell you I'm frustrated that we're in this position. How about that? I'm frustrated. We shouldn't even be here. So I'm glad we're doing something. We got more work to do.
Where are you frustrated at, sir?
The fact that we can just have so many fictitious tags that has saturated our community is an issue. That's frustrating. Frustrates my cops and frustrates me.
Can you talk at all about the other warrants out for Hoffman and what they were looking for him in these other cities for?
Class C warrants for not taking care of a whole myriad of things.
So what's going on with this house that y'all found, or, I'm sorry, the neighborhood perhaps, where you saw other vehicles with that same fake tag? What's going on with that part of the investigation?
We're still working on that piece of the investigation, but I can tell you that individuals associated with that location have had dealings with the Grand Prairie Police Department and law enforcement going back for some time.
So anybody else arrested, perhaps?
Yes, we made a number of arrests at the same time, most for Class C warrants. What else?
Chief, please forgive me for this, but I saw it and I feel like it's your place, sir, to respond to this. And I can tell you who wrote it on Twitter, but it's someone of importance, if you will. I can tell you later who it is, but he said that while very tragic, of course, that your officer died, sir, he was kind of critical of a chase even being started for a non-violent crime.
Yeah.
That led to his.
I don't know who it is you're referring to, nor do I care. So let me just tell you something. The person who's responsible for this is the person who ran. We have a culture where individuals in our society are emboldened to run from the police. If a police officer gets behind you and turns on the lights, you're required to stop. So I've had enough of this trying to blame the officer for his actions. It's ridiculous. What else? Thank you.